Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Brick Hour podcast. I am your host, JJ, otherwise known as Langster Builds. With me, as always, my wonderful co-host, Cam, also known as Cameron Studios.
Hi, everybody.
So we are back. This is episode 3. Excited. This is going to be the first episode that doesn't involve anything Marvel, so rejoice if you're not a Marvel fan, which you probably are if you've seen this in some capacity. However, we're going to start the show like we have the last episode and going forward. What did we get? Did we both get anything this week? I did. I'll show it off. Did you get anything, Cam?
Not since the last episode, actually. I'm behaving myself.
So Cam knows what I've got. So I'm going to start off by showing off, I think, the thing that I was the most pleased with, and that is my first ever Ninjago set.
The set I talked you out of opening day.
The set you talked me out of buying that I then went back and got anyways. Cole's Titan Dragon Mech. This thing is a Gundam. Now, I don't watch Gundam. I don't know anything about Gundam besides they are really cool robots. And that is the whole reason I wanted to get this. It is awesome. The posability on it is insane. The legs are just nuts. It is just really cool all around. I'm very happy to have it.
I gotta tell you, I'm not a Ninjago guy, but holding that mech, the posability, all the parts usages, like, oh my god, I'm using Marvel right now. Sorry. They put like Moon Knight, Mooncrest as a piece, like all the different part usages on that set is amazing, and the posability is insane, and it's not that heavy, and it looks it though.
No, it's surprisingly light. The other set that I got, which I'm going to be very careful in how I wheel it over here so I can show it off, is I have it sitting on a chair right now because I got to get my spot cleared for it. Is Jaws.
Ooh.
The set is beautiful, man.
See, now this is the kind of set where it works doing like that display stand with the quote up front. Like that's the perfect set for it.
The shark, first of all, the shark was a pain in the you-know-what to put this thing together.
Really?
The amount of there are a lot of intricate building techniques, especially in the head, to get the shaping right.
Now,
the Orca itself comes off so it basically just rests here.
Okay.
Like, it jiggles around a bunch. Like, I'm extra careful with it.
With the shark, though, like, is it a solid build? Like, can you drop it and be fine? Like, is that why it was so intricate? Okay.
Yes. The only thing I was concerned about in terms of stability was I wonder how the dorsal fin's going to be. Mm-hmm. And the dorsal fin was literally not a problem whatsoever. Wow. The other thing that I did get, I do have 2 of these now. This was the gift with purchase, the micro rocket. I know you've got one too. I still have to build this. I'm probably going to honestly build it tonight.
I got mine right next to me on my little spaceman display.
I don't know. Do I want to build it tonight or do I want to keep watching Cape Crusader? The show is good, man. The show is good. Both. No, but I want to. If I'm watching the show, I want to watch the show.
Okay,
I watched the first 2 episodes, and it's like absolutely insane how good it is already.
I haven't watched it yet.
Vibes are off the charts. You should. The animated series vibes are off the charts.
Should I watch that or Batman animated series first?
Batman the animated series.
Okay.
1,000% animated series. So the Jaws set being here with me in person is kind of pertinent to this week's episode topic. We are going to talk about Lego ideas. The review results for this. What was this review period?
It's the early September 2023 through early January 2024. So I believe it's the last 2023 one.
Yes, it was the last one. That's correct. So, excuse me, my allergies are bugging me a little bit today. So we have the review results for that period. At the time of this, they literally came out like what, yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. So we're going to talk about this, but we're also going to talk about the state of Lego ideas currently as it is. I think a lot of people can agree that ideas is kind of in desperate need of an overhaul right now.
Maybe not necessarily an overhaul. I'd say more of a restructuring in the sense of it needs to be updated. And like we'll kind of get more into that because we're going to do a little bit of the history of previously qualified sets to approved. We're going to get into all of that today.
Yes. But first, we're going to start off with the fact that the 2 sets that got approved in this review period to become official Lego products was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I think I can speak for both of us, is a win because
That I
that'll be
cannot wait
so
for that
fun to get
set.
that.
Like, I remember watching that movie in kindergarten. Like the fact that it's
Dude,
become
it's
a
one of the
Lego
best
set.
movies ever made.
Yes. And just the fact that like we're gonna be getting a candy Wonderland with all the minifigs. I'm hoping that we get some cool little bonuses here and there with like a chocolate covered Augustus face or a blue violet, like or a nano fig of Mike TV.
See, here's my theory with this set.
Okay.
I feel like a guaranteed minifigures we're gonna get Willy Wonka, obviously. Getting
Obviously.
first of all, getting Gene Wilder as a minifigure finally is just thank you God. So happy to see that.
There's really
We're
no other way to get that. So this is the
no,
perfect way.
we're definitely getting Charlie. We're definitely gonna get Grandpa Joe.
Yes.
We're probably gonna get a few Oompa Loompas. I would guess probably 2 to 3.
I think
I
we're
think
only gonna get two max, but
I think two's
then
probably a solid pick.
I think
I
we're gonna get the four other kids, obviously. I doubt we're gonna
I
get the
wouldn't.
parents. Well,
I
because
don't
I
know,
feel like this is
man.
gonna be like a one and done. I don't think this is
Yeah,
gonna be
no,
like
they're not going to expand it.
Ghostbusters, where
No.
we have the Ecto One and then the headquarters, or like Friends, where we get the Friends Central Perk and then the
Yeah, I
apartments.
feel like you're right. I feel like if they do any extra characters outside of those, it's going to just be the kids. We're not going to get their parents. If we get the parents, I will be shocked.
See, now at that point, you're looking at 15 figs.
That's a lot of minifigures. And I don't know. I don't know. While the actual submission itself was sizable, so they
Mhm.
could make it work. And we know from the past with like BTS wasn't that big, but it had like what 9 minifigures in it. Like,
Yeah, somewhere around there.
so they could do it. They could make it work. It is possible, but there's no guarantees. Like, there's no guarantees. I
Mhm.
mean, there's still a couple idea sets that I would like to have that I don't have yet. So this will probably, for me personally, it might get put on the back burner for a bit. Um, like I still need to get the Home Alone house. I want that thing so bad.
See, I love Home Alone. I want it, but I feel like it's so big, and like I would want to have it be a Christmas decoration, and that's a lot of
Oh
money
yeah.
for one Christmas decoration.
I mean, part of me was like, I should totally get this, but then I was like, X Mansion. So sorry.
Exactly.
So there was that set, and then we also had the, oh my god, what's the name of it? The Italian? I'm not saying Peninsula. That's not what it was. Um, I'm gonna
Mm,
butcher this so badly. I'm looking it up now because now I'm forgetting it. I literally had it memorized today, and now I'm forgetting what it is. The Italian Riviera.
yes, that's it
Yes, Italian Riviera. Thank you. I literally almost said Peninsula, and I'm like, that's not right. I should know
at
what this
all.
is. Yeah. So the Italian Riviera. I love how that looks. That is going to be one really really pretty set when it
It's
comes
gonna be a
out.
really
Like,
pretty set. I
wow.
feel like, at least for me, it's a set that is really cool looking, but not one I'm gonna be rushing to buy if at all.
Correct. Yes,
I'm more into, I guess, pop culture idea sets or
it's
like,
true. There's been a couple good, really good, like the lighthouse was a
oh
great
yeah.
one. The A-frame cabin was really cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, like you said, like I mean, I'm kind of like Jaws. That was an easy. Oh, that got picked. Yeah, that's buying. That's a day one purchase when
Exactly.
that came out. Like
I
hundred
feel
percent.
like there are sets where it is a property that everybody always like, oh, I wish that was a Lego set versus stuff that makes perfect sense for Lego. I feel like you got those two
Yeah.
categories, like stuff that you always wanted but never really thought would happen
Hmm.
versus ideas that could happen but not in that specific detail. Like there's
Correct.
tons of Lego ships, there's tons of Lego houses, but there's not a specific A freight cabin or
Hmm.
a locomotive. So I feel like you have your IP specific, but then you have your extremely detailed
I also
Lego
feel
sets.
like, especially kind of along those lines with ideas, that ideas has really worked in the sense of before the icons theme, where they were
Mm-hmm.
able to do a lot of like your Optimus Prime was a one-off, at least until Bumblebee came out. Like
Right.
Stranger Things was a one-off. That was an icon set.
Yep,
Like,
that's up
yeah,
there.
ideas was kind of the home for those.
Exact. That's I never thought of it that way. That's actually a really good point.
Ideas was really the home for those just one-off. Like, we're only going to get one of this. That was it. And on very very few occasions
Mm-hmm.
have any of those projects got expanded. And there was like, I mean, I feel like the first one that ever had a sequel, quote unquote, was Ghostbusters. Like, we got the Ecto one,
Yes.
and then a couple years after that came out, we got
Friends.
no, we we got the
Oh,
Ecto 1, and then the Firehouse came out.
yes.
But it was, I don't believe the Ecto 1 was on. I think the Ecto 1 had retired by the time the Firehouse came out.
I want to say you're right, but like I feel like there's a few stragglers. Like I remember walking Toys R Us and they still had the Ecto one when the
Yeah, but like Lego
like
wasn't,
retirement. Yeah.
because a lot of those early idea sets, they had one run and that was it.
hmm
The DeLorean was the first one that ever had more than one run on the same
The
model.
DeLorean is one of the few idea sets that I wish I got and didn't get. I was too young when it came out to grab it. You
I got
have
it
it.
up there. I got it up
Oh,
there. I won a bet with my dad. He had to buy it for me.
nice.
Um, so there was that, like you said, friends. Like we had, like we got Central Perk, and then we got the
Mhm.
apartments. There's one other one, Sonic.
Yeah,
Um,
Sonic got its whole theme.
Sonic and its own theme, and Minecraft. Minecraft was really the first one
Minecraft.
because there was the little cube, and then after that it was we got a bunch of expansion little cube sets afterwards, and then they just went full blown with the theme, and now we have a whole Minecraft sub theme now.
It's funny you mentioned Minecraft because I was talking to my friend yesterday and he was on his way to get the new cube set that came out. That's kind of like in
Oh
homage to
yeah,
that original set.
it really kind of
And
is.
I had no idea that Minecraft was an idea set. I thought it
Yeah,
was just its own theme its entire time. And he was like,
no,
no, look it up. And I'm like, oh my
no,
God.
yeah, Minecraft was one of the first. I think it was one of the first five.
It was just after ideas got changed, like the name of the ideas, because it
No,
was named differently.
it was still QSO.
Oh, really?
It was still QSO because QSO switched over to ideas after the Ecto One, I think.
No, Ecto One had the ideas. I remember like it had the
Okay,
special box that had ideas on it.
I know
It was around there.
The DeLorean had QSO still.
Wow. No wonder I
I
don't
feel
have it.
like why did they just call it, like, I don't even understand where the QSO name even
I
came
think it
from.
was a
I don't think it was an acronym.
no, it was like a term or something. I'm not sure, but it's
Who
ideas
cares?
now.
It makes
And
more sense.
today's episode obviously is about the history of it, but also just where we're at right now and how we
Yes.
think it should change.
So I think a perfect starting place to look at is this current review period
Mm.
and just how many projects were actually in it that didn't get picked.
Well, actually, one more thing we forgot to mention. 2.5 sets got approved. Luxo Jr. is still in
Yes,
review.
correct.
And
Luxo Jr. is in review still.
in my research for today's episode, I found out that Luxo was from last round too.
Yes.
So
No,
it's
it was a different model, I'm pretty sure.
it's the same designer, but they haven't checked all the boxes yet. Like I was reading a little bit.
Oh, they're still going through all of
They're
it
still
still.
going through it. So like it was a part of not the previous round. It wasn't approved, but it was still under like research, and it's still under research now. It hasn't hit all the boxes that they want to hit yet.
Correct, yes.
So that's pretty interesting. That's still sticking around. It's reminding me of
Yes.
Snow White, honestly.
Yeah. We figured this out last night. I always assumed that I thought the Snow White set was actually an idea set, and you kind of were like, no, it's not.
It was an idea set for a long time. I think it was submitted 2 or 3 times, and it was either denied or it was more thinking, like and more research had to be done, and then it was just flat out denied. And I'm wondering if at the time there was like an overlap of where Lego was designing their own versus the idea set, and they just didn't want to collide or give enough time in
That's
between.
probably what it was. They probably knew they were going to make an idea set. I'm sorry. They probably knew they were going to make a set based on Snow White and just didn't
Mhm.
want to cross over because because there was obviously famously there was the controversy when the Firehouse got revealed because it
Yep.
was right after the Ecto One got approved. The same designer Brent Waller went through and he made the Ecto One and he put that up.
Yep.
Sorry, not the Ecto One. He made the Firehouse that went
Yes.
up and that did not get picked. And everybody was like, "Oh, that kind of stinks." But everybody figured, it's just too big. It's whatever.
Too big,
And
but also same theme. It's would be because
yeah,
like we'll get
and
to it later on, but like the history of Lego ideas is very interesting.
it was literally like not too long after that review phase, the Firehouse got released as an actual set, and it was Lego that came out and was like, people were like, they stole the design from him, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and it was no, they had literally been working on it. Like when the Ecto One came out and it was selling so well, they were like, okay, like we can probably do something with this. And they had already started developing the Firehouse before the Ideas project even got posted. So it was like
Mm-hmm.
by the time that Ideas project hit 10K, they were already pretty much done developing the Firehouse. So it was like it was just bad timing.
It was
Now
around the time where they started adding more stipulations, like you can't do these specific IPs, or you can. I think
that
that's when they gave the option where you can look up the IP, see if that was an option.
that specific case resulted in that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Because
it's, hey,
in
if we've already done this movie or this show, you can't make something that goes with it because we could already be developing it now.
Well, here's the funny thing. I was looking at the early on Lego Ideas website. They have all their blogs still, but the earliest they go was like 2014.
Yep.
Part of that, like one of the first review stages from 2014, they had the Invisible Hand from Star Wars. They had
Yep.
the X Mansion.
Yep. And they
Like the
all got
fact, and like
denied.
there was Lord of the Rings in 2015, somewhere around there. But the fact that they had themes that were already done or in the process of being done were a big, like that was half of the approved sets at that time that reached
Yep.
10K. So like the fact that now you can't do that, like that was what people were thinking
Now,
of.
the X Mansion, I totally get back then because those X-Men sets did not sell well back then.
No.
So, yeah, denying a $400 X Mansion at the time, yeah, probably a smart call on Lego's part. But anyways, so I think our best way to start this discussion is to look at just how many projects got denied from this current review stage because you have it pulled up.
Yeah, so for this stage, there were 42 sets that qualified.
That's nuts.
And the fact that only two got approved, where versus like 2014, there was I think six or seven, and like two got approved. So like I understand, like
And
it's around the same.
that was a big deal back then.
Mhm.
Having two get approved was huge.
Like it makes sense where it's like still around the same amount being approved, but the fact that so many are getting qualified,
Mm-hmm.
there either has to be another level to get to the review stage instead of just 10,000 votes because the big
It's
ticker that changed it all pretty much was COVID. A lot more
COVID.
people got into Lego. A lot more adults did. Social media is more prevalent. Someone could tweet about a idea set and it could just gain massive popularity. Like I
I mean,
remember,
we've seen YouTubers recently
oh
make
yeah,
their own ideas projects, post them, and
within
they
days
they
they
hit
get
10. I
10K.
mean, there's one guy in particular that had two projects that hit 10K like in a week,
Mm-hmm.
and now they both didn't get picked, but it was
Right.
like there's power. People have that power now to do
The
that.
biggest one I remember was the show Community. Someone made an idea set about it, and like
Mm-hmm.
Ken Jeong and Yvette Nicole Brown tweeted about it, and everyone got behind it, and it got the
Boom.
votes, but it didn't get approved because probably Lego couldn't get the IP maybe. But it's just
They
crazy to
also
think.
have rules for like what IPs can get picked. Like Parks and Rec has been submitted multiple
Oh my
times,
god, I want Parks
but
and Rec.
Parks and Rec cannot get picked because it's based on a political office. So Lego is
Oh,
like, we don't deal with politics at all. Nope. So we are
hmm,
not at all touching this because
which is
it,
kind of funny because there's an Abraham Lincoln minifigure from the Lego movie.
but they threw that off as like it's history, so like it's
Hmm.
fine. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like that makes sense. But I do understand the point of like
Oh yeah.
there are there are certain like realistic military stuff,
Hmm.
anything political, things to do with drugs and alcohol. Like they
Oh
want to
yeah.
avoid that stuff, which is totally understandable. Like there's been projects that have like been really cool, but they immediately don't get they used to get denied. And that's one of the things I think Ideas has done well recently is they have their ground rules of if you release projects that fall into any of these categories, they automatically get denied. They don't even hit the platform.
Right, exactly. I feel like that's where Lego Ideas has been strong is because they stick to their guidelines. Like they don't
They do.
bend the rules for anything, which is smart. What they need to do is kind of grow with the growth of Lego Ideas.
Correct.
They're still at level, let's just say level two, where fans and votes are at like level three or four in all reality, because I believe it was January 2023 through May 23, like the first 2023,
It was
they
like
had
what?
71 qualified.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the record.
insane. And there was one picked, wasn't there?
Two.
There was two. Okay, who? What were they?
Twilight and Botanical Garden.
Ugh,
And Botanical Garden
Twilight.
should be coming out early 2025, I
I
think.
believe I saw something that said Botanical Gardens is rumored to be early 2025 and that Twilight will
Mhm.
follow not too long after it.
Right. And so, but like it's pretty interesting. Like that had 71, but the one before what we're doing now from September 23, or no, it was early May 2023 through September 2023, 49 qualified with
See, a little bit
10,000
less.
votes. And two, it was 2.5. It was the minifig prize machine and
Which we still
the
haven't seen.
Western River Steamboat, but also Luxo. So like
Yeah,
Luxo's hanging around.
Luxo's been hanging around.
So it's still around that
I think there's
2-3
another
mark.
project that hung around for a while before it got picked.
I can't
I
remember which one. I know
forgot what
Snow
it
White
was.
hung around for a while.
That
Office was submitted a few times.
the
Office
Office
was
got
submitted by like three
the
different people.
Office and no, the Office was submitted. The one that got picked was submitted by the same guy 3 times.
And there was
And
another person that submitted too, I think.
Jaw, yeah, his was way bigger than that one. And then the Jaws project was submitted. There was multiple Jaws projects that got submitted that never went anywhere, but the
Mhm.
most recent one got submitted, and that one got picked. No, I don't. Like I said, there's too many cases now of people submitting the same project multiple times and not getting picked. So now it's
Mhm.
like I can't keep track of who's who. There's just too much
Right.
going on.
There's way too many submissions, which is good because like it's awesome to
I
see
don't think the
everyone
number
wanting
of
to do it.
submissions is bad.
No, it's
I
not bad at all. I think what's happening is the more people are submitting, the more ideas are being submitted, the more IPs are being submitted, the more that Lego is trying to not let these submitted because they could have a project of their own going on. So like I'm sure there's been plenty of times recently, like I know some people were submitting a bunch or trying to do Zelda ideas, but
and
for a while they
eventually
were getting denied, and like that made people it clicked in their mind like, oh my god, we're gonna get a Zelda set.
like they're developing something. One of the other things that they did a couple years ago that was honestly very smart on Lego Ideas part
Mm-hmm.
was they it used to just be, if you remember from the good old days when they used to just, go La Vida Loco with stuff. Excuse me. One of the original policies that they used to do was you posted your project and it just sat there.
Yep.
And it could take you 15 years to hit 10K, and as long as you hit 10K, it didn't matter. Well, after a while, it was the site was getting too backlogged with projects that had like 15 supporters, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like nobody's gonna back this thing.
Right.
So what they did was they altered it. So now you basically have windows of time to hit a certain milestone.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't hit that milestone in that window of time, your project gets taken down. You could resubmit it, but there's the danger of it just doesn't hit those milestones.
Right.
So that was a great way for them. That's how they kind of started originally weeding out projects where it was like, yeah, this one's not going to hit 10 ever. It didn't hit this milestone. Now it's just off the site. And they were able to get new, fresh ideas up there, which is smart. The
Right.
problem is you have too many people hitting 10K now. That's the
Exactly. They
problem we're
need
running
to
into.
add like another threshold in a sense, like you said, they made it where you need to get a certain amount of votes in a certain amount of time. Great move. But now they need to add on to that. They either need to I don't think they should necessarily make it faster. Like you need to make it in a less amount of time.
Mhm.
The timing isn't the problem. It's the number of votes because there are so many more people now interested in Lego and on social media. Some people
Correct.
can even vote without really be even that interested in Lego. Some people have voted just because they want the IP in a Lego set,
Mhm.
like Charlie and the Chalk Factory. There's not much product
That
out
project
there.
has been submitted multiple times. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
Charlie and Chocolate Factory projects before, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed that it took them this long to actually get it because they've been working with Warner Brothers on stuff for forever.
Mm-hmm. So I think what it was there was people wanted Charlie Chalk Factory because there are no like you don't see toys or games based
No,
on Willy Wonka or Charlie Chalk Factory. Like, you don't
no.
see it. So people were probably voting for it just to get that. There were probably some diehard fans that have been waiting for this forever. So
Mhm.
now Lego needs to figure out a way to make it because, like we said, there was a record-breaking 71 sets that qualified with 10,000 votes.
And they took 2 of them.
So what needs to happen? I think what needs to happen, because like I don't see Lego making a bigger team for ideas and approving more sets, just because like in my research, I think they're like at the moment there's still like 6 or 7 sets not released yet.
I don't think you need to make more. I think they've honestly hit a good sweet spot.
around 3, 4. Because like there was one point where I saw 4 were approved.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 projects a year. I feel like three, like maybe
Mm,
5 sets coming out. I
yeah,
feel like that's a good amount.
because
Like
it's.
one every couple of months. You're
Mhm.
good. Like I feel like that's okay.
I think
I
at this
I
point
think
there's like 3 different stages. Like there's 3 waves of reviews, and I
correct.
feel like that's a good amount. And
Yep.
about 2, 3 sets works. Now, if there's one that only gets like 1,
Mhm.
then another time could get 4. Because like there has been times where it has been 4. There have been times, not in a long time, where none were approved. Like that was
Correct.
back when there was only like 10 at most. So like
No,
if
there
there's no
there was
sets,
one when there was like 30 projects in and they said no to all of them. And there was just no idea. And then the next one they took 3 to
right?
make up for it.
Exactly. So I feel like the amount of sets that are getting approved isn't where the big problem and frustration from fans are coming from. Like I get it, where all the fans are like, "Oh my god, we have 3 times the amount of sets that have been qualified. We should get 3 times more sets approved." That's not going to work because there's not
No.
enough of a staff probably at Lego. They don't want to add more resources to that when there's other themes. There's a lot of themes within Lego outside
Yeah.
of ideas.
I
But
think
and then shelf space. Like you can't have like what I love to get 10, 15 idea sets every year. Yeah, that would be cool to
but that's way
see
too
other
much.
people's ideas, but there's way too much. There's not enough time, not enough money, not enough shelf space.
Here's the argument I keep seeing thrown around. And I think it's the quote unquote easy answer. Just raise the threshold from 10,000 to 15,000.
Something like that. It's
Make
a
it
simple
higher.
solution.
Here's the problem with that though. I
Problem.
think there's a reason why Lego hasn't done that yet. I think the reason they haven't gone from 10 to 15 is they're afraid that they might not get enough submissions in those review periods to even
Oh.
get a review period. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Because you would have to restructure the time periods then.
they gotta find a happy medium because well, I feel like to that point, yes, but at the same time, if we're getting 40 or it's fair to say we're getting like between 40 and 45 sets that qualify every round now.
Yes. At mean average, yeah, we'll say that.
So I feel like raising it to 15,000 isn't that much out of the realm just
True.
because we used to only get 10 sets in a review period. Like that's
We
what
used to
we
get
were used to
one
for a
in a
long
review
time.
period.
Before COVID, we would know like I don't even remember one. Like I remember watching some YouTube channels that would talk about like they would do like weekly episodes similar to what we're doing, and they would set time aside for sets that got approved for Lego ideas. Sometimes it'd be one, sometimes it'd be none, sometimes it'd be 2. Now it's probably 5 or 6 a week at this point. And so I feel like they can't increase the number of sets that get approved. That's not logical. They
No.
can't. I feel like the only answer that they could do is increasing the votes because
The only thing with that I see is do enough of these projects have the legs to get 5,000 more supporters? That's the problem.
I feel like we said, the big kicker that kind of changed it all was COVID and more people got into Lego. I
Correct.
feel like some sets used to take years to get to 10,000. Now some are doing it in a month or less. So I feel like if they can get 10,000
True.
in a month, it's not going to be that hard to get 5,000 within, I think it's like a
5,000 extra.
year a set has to be on, or like they have to get like
There's certain
500. There's like
milestones.
whatever parameters are in there right now, just tweak it a little bit, update it a little bit where, because like some people are getting 10,000 a month. That's not a
Mhm.
big deal. And like if those sets can get 10,000 a month, so let's just say they have a year to get 15,000,
Yeah,
it's not going to be that hard.
correct. I mean, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I just think for them, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm looking
Yeah,
at like from Lego's perspective
please
is
do.
do enough of these projects like right now like you have like four like let's say you have 40 to 45 per review period go in.
Mm-hmm.
If you cut it to 15,000 supporters need to back this to get in,
Mm-hmm.
does that leave enough room to where you're is because that I think the problem is right now is this. I think the other thing is the number of submissions in the review periods has gotten so large that you kind of know for a fact that we're going to get at least one project, maybe two. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? if we cut this number of submissions down to, let's say, half it, there's
Okay.
20.
Yeah.
There's 20 in every review period. Are you going to even get one out of that? I feel like they kind of need the number of submissions getting in to be bigger, because if they don't have enough projects, you risk there's no set for this review period.
I feel like right now, I feel like we're at not too much because like it's awesome to see all the ideas get through. Like
Yeah.
we were used to only getting 10 in a review period. Now we're getting to 40. Like that one period we got 70. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like 70 was really high and unrealistic to expect more than 2 or 3 to
I
get through.
that review period was very much a wild card outlier.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
So I feel like at the very beginning, there was like 10 or so getting qualified. You got 1 or maybe 2 sets approved. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're getting 40, 45, and still 1 to 2 sets. I feel like the number of submissions changing, fluctuating, won't change the number of sets that get approved. I feel like, I mean, obviously, it's going to boil down to if Lego can make the ideas and the qualified sets actual sets, like they can get the IP or if they can get the parts to work. Because like some of
Or
these sets that are
like
submitted are done digitally, like they don't know if it can work physically.
I mean, a lot of people like, I mean, I used to go on LDD all the time, like
Mm-hmm.
the digital designer, and I would make like weird bases and stuff out of like all of the old like classic space pieces that Lego does not make anymore. Like they don't have
Exactly.
the molds for those. So it's like if you were to make a set that had one of those in it, like yikes.
That's like an
The
automatic deny.
Now, not to say they haven't done that in the past and gone back, because ship in a bottle that happened
I love that set.
where the person that made that used a lot of the like transparent like windscreen
Mm-hmm.
canopy pieces from those old space sets and slapped them in there, and it got picked, and everyone's like, there's no chance this gets made. And now here we are when it did get made, and they did bring that mold back for just that set.
Exactly.
And like I said, let's also not forget ideas used to have the policy on no specialized pieces.
Right.
You have to pick parts, and then they changed it for, was it Winnie the Pooh? They changed it for Sesame Street.
Yes, because they Sesame Street needs specialized molds.
Sesame
Like
Street needed specialized pieces, so they were forced
just
to like, okay,
Big Bird alone.
that big bird figure has seen some things. His eyes are too open. I have it over here, but like I'm just like
Like
his.
the arms were pieces already used for like the
Yep,
Chicken Man costume, and like the legs can just be printed. But the
correct.
mold itself, like yes, it's rubbery, so it's not like a hard Lego, but still, like
But
that's
still,
a
they have to mold
specialized
that.
piece. And like you got
Correct.
Bert and Ernie who are hard
They had
pieces.
their own heads. Elmo had his own head. Cookie Monster had his own head.
The only one
Oscar
that
the
didn't have their
Grouch.
own head, Oscar, was just a ball.
Oscar was BB-8's torso,
Yes.
which was hilarious when that came out. But that was a perfect
Mm-hmm.
use for that part. Like that made so much sense.
Exactly.
So I just sit here and go, okay, like they've made enough changes in the past. I don't know if just I see there's like I agree. There is positives to making the number of supporters you need to get your project
Mm-hmm.
approved. There is merit to that. But there's also the flip side of if they don't get enough quality projects that get hit 15 in that review period, you risk not getting any. I think the problem is ideas has become so much of a set theme now
Mm-hmm.
that people are very used to seeing a multiple sets like, oh, new ideas release, here it is. And here's the other thing. If you start getting review periods where not enough projects get through, are people going to be as likely to try and post a project? That's the other thing.
So just to kind of counter your point, I think the way that the 15,000 votes would work versus a 10, let's just say to your point, if no sets got the 15,000
Mm-hmm.
or if only a few did, like just say 10 like it used to be, and none of them got approved, the next period, 4 could get approved. So like I feel like as Lego fans, not necessarily spoiled, but like we've got some amazing idea sets recently. We're getting a lot more
Oh,
of
we
them than we
have.
used to.
I think that Twilight set's gonna suck, though. I'm not gonna lie,
You know, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna want to buy that Twilight set. You
dude.
know
I'm
it.
going nowhere near the Lego store when that comes out. There's gonna be every teenage girl ever is gonna be lined up for that
They're
thing.
not
You
teenagers no
already know
more.
it. I know. Aaron wants it
it's
really
going to bring
badly.
more fans into Lego. They might get into other themes.
That's
Like,
true. That's very true.
I have a friend who is a die-hard Twilight fan. I don't know if die-hard, but she really wants a set. But she's also wanted other sets as well. She's got into Botanical. She's gotten into Animal Crossing.
The Botanicals have done a really good job getting people in.
Yes.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So to get back to the point of like, I feel like raising it to 15,000, it's gonna, in a sense, bring people like everyone's on cloud nine right now. We need to bring people back down to reality a little bit in the sense of so many like the current one right now from January 2024 through May 6, 2024, that review period, there's 48 sets that qualified.
Solid
And
number.
you're probably going to see one or two sets approved. And a lot of people are frustrated with that, which I can understand. But we have to remember, like they're trying to essentially, if two sets got approved with 10 sets, they think that 8 sets should get approved with 40 sets. That's not going to happen.
That's not math. We can math.
No.
That's
But
not math. We can math.
you can't math, and I'm an accountant, so I should know. But but with 15,000, at least gets more people interacting with it. You get more votes. It kind of, in a sense, if you're a designer, if I was a designer, I would feel better about my set if it got 15,000 versus 10,000. Like it seems like everybody's getting 10,000 right now. Whereas 15, like you feel kind of better about it. And instead of getting 48, 40, 71 qualified sets that gets 10,000 votes,
that was nuts.
It brings it down a little bit back to reality. And we can't get back into this norm of, okay, we're going to get about, like, I feel like the happy medium, not 40, not 10, around 20, 25. And then from there, you can get 2 sets, you can get 3 sets. Sometimes you're going to get 1, sometimes you're going to get 4. I don't think you should get more than 4 sets approved because I feel like it's going to end up getting to the point where Lego Ideas has a backlog of their own of sets that got approved. Like there are some sets that happened that got approved in 2023 that we're not going to see until 2025. I think. I'm not
sure. That's also just because those sets take a year or so to design.
Oh, absolutely.
And, get wrapped up.
But also with so many sets, like they don't want to release a set to, like, if they release a set in January, as an ideas team, you shouldn't want to release a set until April or so, just because you don't want to take the hype away from the January set.
I also think, yes, I agree with that. And that's why I think I'm not as mad as other people are about, oh, there was 48 projects and only one got picked. Well, yeah, what do you expect them to release 15 at the same time?
Exactly.
And cannibalize the releases? Like, I also think, I personally believe that we should get, I kind of like the idea of one release for every new announcement. Like Jaws got released and we got the new announcement a couple days afterwards. That was kind of smart because that way it's like, oh, hey, here's the new set that we just that reviewed, whatever got picked. Now it's out. Here's the next one we're announcing that's getting worked on. That could also work.
That could work, but I feel like you'll end up getting too many sets that are approved that aren't announced with the release, and you're going to build a bigger backlog. I feel like maybe you definitely want to release or reveal a set during the review results. That's a smart move, easily.
Correct.
Which, would you count Jaws or no for this review that the one that was revealed yesterday?
I would count Jaws as Jaws got released. And
okay. I misunderstood. You're talking about release, and when you reveal, I was thinking more of like releasing or like revealing like the finished product before it's released on sale.
No.
Okay.
I'm talking like a project from a previous review period that got picked, has been designed, and is now that tangible product can now be purchased.
No, that's definitely a good idea. I feel like it works. Like there's definitely going to be some idea sets that are going to release that aren't tied into the reviews being revealed.
Correct.
Like there's some that, like January 1st, I feel like you're always going to get one January 1st and August 1st. There's no questions about that. And then some have happened to correlate with like anniversaries. Like I think Flintstones might have been part of an anniversary.
Ghostbusters was, I know that.
Ghostbusters.
But here's the other thing. They also now recently changed their policy and have been like, stop doing anniversary sets because yes, the anniversary set gets submitted and is picked in the year that the anniversary occurs.
3 years later, when it's actually released as a
But then
set,
you got to wait a couple years for it to come out. Like Jaws, I think one of the original things was like Jaws was an anniversary set a couple years ago, and it got denied. It's like, well, yeah, it's an anniversary set. Like this one was just Jaws, and it's great. It's fantastic. I mean, again, I'm looking at it right now. The orc is detailed. The other thing to note with the idea sets is they are becoming increasingly larger, and they are becoming pricier.
Yes.
There was a point in time when ideas did not go over $100. That Tron. Is out. That is out the window now.
There was Tron. There was Steamboat Willie. There was Wally.
Steamboat Willie was almost $100 though.
You're right. I mean, you got Sonic. You got the Ship in a Bottle. You got the Pop-Up Book. You got Big Bang Theory. Friends, like all those weren't above 100. I don't think.
No, none of those. The Pop-Up Book might have been over 100.
Whatever the case, like these are all small sets. I mean, the Globe was a big set. Voltron was what, 300?
No. Voltron was like 179.
Wow. You know what? I'm thinking back my early days of college when I got it, and 179 was a lot of money when you're a college student.
So I look at it and I go, do we like here's the other problem. A lot of these larger sets get picked. Again, if you pick too many products, you cannibalize the release release periods of other ones. Like Jaws is 150. Jaws, I feel like, is a perfect, really good middle ground.
Yes.
It's expensive. It's a collector's item. But it's not like Home Alone where it's like pushing 300 and it's like, for some people, this is completely unattainable. And if you want it, you got to wait a little bit and you're going to save money to get it. There's that.
To add to that, I mean, you got the grand piano, the typewriter, the phone booth. They're all bigger, more expensive sets.
Yep.
At the same time, not everyone's going to want to go out and buy that. One, because of the price, but some people don't like piano. Some people like guitar. Some people aren't going to be rushing to get a typewriter, or like there's the foosball table. Why would someone? It looked great in the review stage. Like the submission was cool looking, but then there's two things with the foosball table. One, they shrunk it down and it's a lot smaller to play with. But two, for the price of the small Legofied foosball table, you could get an actual foosball table.
An actual one. That was the funniest thing to come out of that. It was like what, $150 or something like that. It's like
it was expensive,
and I was like, dude, I can go buy an actual foosball table for that price.
Exactly. And now, like, there's sets like the maze that was kind of original. Like, you don't go out and buy yourself like a little maze with a turntable. Like, that was pretty cool. But
which is why I see a lot of people saying, well, if people are complaining, there's about ideas isn't picking enough of these projects. I've seen some people argue, well, the BrickLink designer program then takes a lot of the non-IP oriented ones and makes those into sets. It's like, that's a whole different thing, though.
It's a whole separate thing. Those are people that are diehard Lego fans, ready to spend that amount of money.
Yes,
I would
because
love
those projects are just copy
huge. They're just so expensive,
and they're not really like tweaked that much.
No, they're not. It's almost a brick for brick copy.
Yeah, it's practically a brick for brick copy of whatever it is.
But also, like, I feel like with a lot of those sets, they're not complex pieces, but also not complex builds. Like, so there's some building techniques in there, but not as crazy as some of the other sets that have come out lately.
Now, we've got an episode planned for the BrickLink designer program and stuff like that going forward. But we're not going to go into that too much right now because we want that juicy content to save for all of you for later, so you keep watching. But like,
nice plug.
I know, right? Keeping the viewers hooked. I feel like ideas isn't as messed up as everyone says it is.
No, it's not. I feel like people got spoiled.
Yes.
A lot more fans came in because of COVID, which is great for Lego and great for the Lego community itself. Because I feel like after COVID, in a sense, more people were into Lego and it became not cool to like Lego necessarily, but like it wasn't as, I guess, looked down on it. So it's like some people would not say they're a fan of Lego unless you're with other Lego fans.
It became a hobbyist type thing. Like, like I can get this and display it in my house and it'll look really nice.
Well, there's
Um,
also Lego sets that are realistic that you can just display in your house and be like, oh yeah, those are a bouquet of roses that I have.
yeah, like that creepy looking cat that they came out for ideas. Don't even
I'm
get me started on that thing, dude. It freaks me out. I
I'm
don't.
not a cat person. It creeps
That
me
is
out too.
that is the only idea set that I've ever questioned on why are you making this? Why did this get picked?
Well,
And
because you're
it's
not a cat person. I have some friends that
no,
want that.
I
Like,
love because dogs are better. That's why.
I,
Fight me if you don't like it.
I like dogs, but rabbits rule. But I
Rabbits
have,
rule.
yes, they do. My stand is amazing. I have some friends who have cats. They love cats. They texted me because like, hey, Lego man, because I'm their Lego friend. They know I know Lego.
Yeah.
I want to get two of these sets, one for this cat, one for this cat. How can I make the other cat look like my cat? Because they have a cat that looks like the idea set, but one that doesn't. I'm like, you could buy this both, you could buy it twice and change the pieces, but that just shows what, in a sense, Lego Ideas has done. They brought
It's
people
supposed
in
to be
that
both.
aren't typical Lego fans becoming Lego fans. Like they don't want to buy Lego. They're gamers, they play Magic, but they want their cat.
Now, one of the other things with ideas that we've noticed as of late is they've been doing a lot of little contests
Mm-hmm.
where they go, "Hey, here's this specific themed contest. We're gonna run with this." Like they have the 80s, like the 80s themed one, and that's all IP.
Oh, I think they're going to do an
Um,
ET. I want ET.
I want ET, man. I know ET was in Dimensions, but I'm like, give me an ET set. Actually, you have the ET figure, don't you? Of course you do.
Yep.
Um, I so need to get that at some point. So like there's that, and like Beetlejuice is up. There's a Goonies project, and it's like those are really cool.
Yes.
There's another Gremlins project. Those are cool. And it's like so I love those little contests because they're kind of slowly like they're like sneaking those in there. And it's kind of fun because you get those themed projects. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
They're just
Um,
like I feel like those figs and stuff reminds me that I wish ideas would start doing smaller sets again
correct.
because like I would love to get a Tron size set or like Wally. Look, Wally wasn't he wasn't expensive, but like he wasn't cheap either. I
No, and
want
Wally had the whole controversy with the head not sitting straight for a while.
I got him after like I got like this special little booklet that came with it, like, okay, you need to do this instead.
Yep.
But if they I feel like you have the big sets, you're gonna have a bunch of people that want it, but then it's gonna
Hmm.
kind of die down slowly. Like with the piano, that's huge. It's a cool concept, the fact that it can play itself,
Yes,
but
but
it's
is it going to
so
work?
expensive. Like if there was more cheaper idea sets, like 50 or lower, I feel like it's
Hmm.
possible. You can do plenty of sets
Oh
50 or
yeah.
lower, and they would sell like crazy. Like I wish I got the Tron set. Like I'm probably gonna get it in the next few months just because after riding the ride in Disney, I
Oh,
want it.
and with the new movie coming out, yeah, it's going to
Exactly. But
jack
like
in
if they
price.
did more small sets, I feel like I feel like the big problems that people have with ideas right now is not enough sets being approved because they think more sets qualified means more sets approved. It's
Correct.
not logical.
It's not logical.
Next problem, people are complaining that ideas are getting too expensive. I can agree with that. There should be some big sets for sure because they look amazing.
I
But there
also
should
feel
be
like
some small sets and medium sets. Like you
yeah.
need to have
I also feel
variations,
like yes, the big ones are expensive,
but
but
worth
they're
it.
like really worth it because
They really are.
like if you're gonna look at the big sets that are expensive for ideas but that are really worth what you're paying for,
The
the
globe.
globe 100%.
Like you
um
can't go wrong with that.
I think the one of note, the lighthouse,
I didn't get the lighthouse because it is big. It's not something I'm into, but I know people that wanted the lighthouse, like they'll put it in their city and it looks
it
phenomenal.
looks so good.
So I
I
feel like
honest I would
mhm,
love that is that like there are not many like again you've seen everyone you know everybody here sees my like my backdrop here.
mhm,
I've got superhero stuff up the wall. I got Star Wars over here. I got the Firehouse, the Ghostbusters Firehouse. I got a
mhm.
whole shelf of Jurassic Park. I love IP related stuff. That's just
Yes.
that's primarily what I collect. However, there are sets every now and then that really grab my attention. Like I put it back over here, but the Titan mech,
Mhm.
that thing was like, ooh, that's cool. Now, yes, it's an IP, but it's like one of their in-house IPs. The Lighthouse was that set for me. I looked at it and went, Man, that's really nice.
It's really
If it
nice.
wasn't $270, I probably would have bought it day one.
Now, if there was a $50, $75 lighthouse that I'm not saying it's gonna be the exact copy for copy. Like if there was a shrunken
Oh
down
yeah,
version, you would have gotten it easily.
probably yeah. But here's the problem. I wouldn't say that because it wouldn't have looked the same at all. It would have been very different.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like it's a very interesting medium we sit on with this right now.
Mhm.
Here's the other point I'm going to bring up with ideas that I think people need to start realizing.
One thing I remembered in my research, you
Yes.
mentioning Jurassic Park,
Mm-hmm.
the set with the giant T Rex and the gate,
Yes.
that was an idea submission.
Mm-hmm.
Someone submitted that exact idea and it wasn't approved. And then down
It
the
was because,
line, Lego did it.
it was because they were already developing it. That's the problem.
It was like from 2014, 2015, I think, 2016, around there. That's when I saw it.
I don't think they had the Jurassic Park license yet because Jurassic World came back into play in 2015 when Jurassic World happened, and they didn't start making it based on Jurassic Park until 2019 when Fallen Kingdom came out, or
Right.
2018. Well, I think one of those 2 years. So I look at this and I go, here's the other problem that needs to be addressed with ideas, and this is the glaring one. So yes, Lego has prevented certain IPs from being submitted.
IPs they've already
I'm
have done or are
Yes,
doing, or
I'm
ones that they
looking at
can't get
that
approval of.
specifically. Like you can't submit a DC project because they have DC Comics. They could make that. You can't submit a Marvel project because they could make that. I think the big glaring issue right now with the IP thing is Disney. Because yes, you can still, technically speaking, submit Disney IPs and they'll still get picked. Like
Right.
Winnie the Pooh was a Disney set. That is one of my favorite sets of
Oh
all
my God, it's
time.
amazing.
Tigger is one of my favorite characters. Like I got that thing the minute it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there looking at this going, this is a Disney set, but it's also an idea submission.
Right.
I feel like again, when you look at a lot of these projects that are getting picked, a lot of Ratatouille 3 times.
Oh, I wanted that one.
Like Luxo Junior's up there. There was another one. It was the Pixar Ball. There's been multiple Disney themed projects that have got through that they just keep denying minus 1 or 2 every now and then. So I'm kind of sitting there going, I think what they need to do, quite honestly, no Disney projects. Stop it.
You know what? To kind of balance out that argument, I feel like no Disney and ideas, but they should have Disney specific contests because we got that one
That's
idea
fair.
set coming with that Mickey and like the other minifigures.
True. Yes.
So I definitely agree with like it. Disney's such a huge umbrella that the fact that it includes Star Wars and Marvel, Indiana Jones, Disney animated, Pixar, it includes a lot. So if they get rid of Disney altogether, they're blocking themselves off from doing some amazing looking sets, but they could also be saving for themselves.
But how many projects getting through in some of these review periods are Disney themed projects that don't get picked because it's
true?
Well, we could make this. I think what they should just start doing is it should just be anything based on a Disney movie, just automatically off the table.
I want to agree with that. I feel like they won't. Well, first off, I don't think they will do that, but I feel like they would be cutting off a lot of submissions, which I think Lego likes to see all the submissions come in. But like to your point about all the IPs that Lego's already done, like I remember doing the research, looking at like the review results from like 2014. It was like the second stage. They had 8 sets in review. Only one got approved, Wally. But within that group, listen to this. 7 of these sets are IP, 1 is not. You have Wally.
Yep.
The Invisible Hand.
Yeah, I remember that one.
The X-Men Mansion.
Yep.
Luke and Darth Vader's lightsabers.
Wasn't there the what was the one? Was that the one that had the Back to the Future town hall?
There's one more. So they had the UCS AT-AT. They had the Ghostbusters headquarters.
Yep.
They had Assault on Wayne Manor, a Batman set.
Oh, I would have loved that.
And then the one non-IP was the Hubble Space Telescope from NASA. So I don't know if that's considered IP being NASA, But that's all IP stuff that if that was reviewed was done today, 7 out of the 8, if not 8 out of the 8, would not be considered because Legos already has those IPs and they've made
Correct.
rules where those aren't allowed anymore.
Correct. So
So
none
like
of like yeah,
overall,
like none of those would have gotten picked at all.
I don't think they should definitely do a hard no on Disney. I think it helps it promotes creativity for people to submit their ideas.
Hmm.
But they definitely need to figure out a way like to add more not restrictions, but
They need to
more
filter it
guidelines to
better.
make it where they don't because I'm sure there are some people that have submitted some great sets that can't get
Oh
approved
yeah.
because Lego's already working on it.
Hmm.
Or like there have been sets that people have submitted that they can't do because of the IP.
And that's the problem we keep getting right now. Is I think the issue we keep getting is it keeps getting such and such project gets denied, and then a year later, here Lego's got it, and everyone's like, "Oh, they copied the idea set." It's like, no, they didn't. They've been developing it.
It's
They
for
just
a
can't
set
tell
can take
you
up to
that.
2 years to get developed from the start
Yeah,
that's like designs to release. It could take
exactly.
2 years.
And also, let's be frank. If they're developing a set and somebody submits through IP through ideas, and it gets like a 10,000 supporters and hits a review stage while they're developing their own project that's been working on before that, they can't say that in the release.
Right.
They can't
Mm-mm.
because now you're tipping your hand to your competitors, and now they know what you're going to make.
Exactly.
So it doesn't make any sense. I just think they need to filter Disney better because again, we like I just said, Snow White was an idea set. It got denied, and then it
Mm.
came out as a set like 2 months later, and it was like,
Especially after Disney 100, all the minifig based Disney sets we've gotten that sold amazing.
yeah,
I mean, you had the villains icons, you had the
yep,
little train, you had the Peter Pan. Like those are all Disney that had minifigures in them.
mm-hmm,
So I feel like it's definitely they need to do a better they need to find a way to both limit what kind of ideas are submitted so people don't get their hopes up or
mm-hmm,
they show their hand too quick, but also at the same time, they need to find a way to meet up fans in the middle because they can't approve more projects than they already are now. There's no
correct,
more room to add more sets.
correct.
Now, if
No,
they add the votes to raise it higher, I feel like that ultimately I feel like they need to add more restrictions on what IPs or non-IPs you can submit and
mm-hmm,
then the number of votes that your set needs. But also to your point with the IP, I feel like it's half IP that gets denied, half non-IP, and
yep.
half those non-IP sets are just too niche to
Then there's
sell well at
that.
all.
Yes.
So
Now,
I feel
personally
like people need to take that
speaking,
consider because like there's sets that are phenomenal, but there's only gonna be
yes.
like 10 people that want to buy it.
Now, here's one of the other things. So I say this with the whole limit the IP with Disney thing. With me having a project I'm working on submitting to ideas that is Disney themed. So I'm
Ah,
kind of like, Cam knows what it is. I'm not going to say it yet because I'll end up talking about it when I finish it. But there's also the thing of ideas is technically an 18 plus line now. Do they start allowing, I'm not saying more mature things, but like, do you start pushing boundaries with 18 plus level themes? Like,
I don't think Lego will go that route. I mean, as a company, like I feel like the biggest thing that people forget when it comes to Lego, when it boils down to it, it started out as a kid's toy.
correct. And now we have the Punisher in the Daily Bugle.
Yes, I know. I'm
That
looking
that's
at
my
mine too.
argument to that. Like,
Or Jaws, which was argued like should if it released today, it would be rated R, not PG.
correct.
But
I
I
just
see what you're
I feel
saying.
like
I
yeah,
feel like if I was working with ideas, I would not want to be an 18 plus exclusive line because I feel like you're limiting yourself. Like, yes, you
well
open yourself up
they
to
are all 18 plus
opportunities,
now. That's the thing.
but like they need to go back down to not 18 plus because like some kids, like I remember I didn't watch a show Adventure Time.
Yes,
If they made an Adventure Time 18 plus version, kids aren't going to enjoy it. Like the kids want to play with it. I feel like
true.
ideas need to find a way to be both a model set, but there has to be some play sets too.
It's fair.
Like they
It's a
need to
fair
find a happy
criticism
medium.
to
Like
have.
there are some people that want more sets right now, but some people that think not enough sets are going to improve. Like there needs to be a middle ground, and I feel like to get to that, you can't put so many restrictions on yourself. Like make it just stay 18 plus.
Correct.
You can't limit to no Disney. Like I get your point there. I feel like if you
Hmm.
do a hardcore no Disney, they're going to lose a lot of submissions. But there
I'm
is
not.
also enough
I'm
ideas
saying like
out
no
there.
like classic Disney, no things like that. Because like again, because then you run into the Snow White problem, and it's like you don't want to keep having that.
Mm-mm. Man, I would wish we got like a Lion King Pride Rock set.
That would be sick, dude. I would have bought that. Like that
Like,
would
and
have been
just imagine like a
awesome.
little Rafiki holding up a Simba,
That would be actually incredible if they pulled that off.
and
That'd be so
they would
many
have to
molded pieces,
build
though.
it in a way where you don't have all the animals on the outside because that would be way too many animals
Oh,
that would shoot up in
you
price.
could easily pull, or you could just do like a. Actually, that would look kind of terrible. You could do some brick build stuff, but it would be just kind of
I feel like if
ridiculous.
you just had like the rock itself, but
Yeah, that would be a little problematic.
mhm. But back to the main point we were trying to get at. Lego
Yes,
Ideas needs to find a way to essentially grow itself as a fan. The number of fans have grown, but also as the number of IP that is
correct,
being available.
correct.
If Lego can find a way to grow as much as the submissions have grown,
Hmm.
it can be considered one of the top themes each year because they have the capability to do some amazing sets.
Yep.
They have the capability to approve a really good sets. They have different sets. They're one of the few themes, honestly, that won't go away now because it's such an incredible idea that you can get a fan's idea
Hmm.
submitted,
Yep.
praised by everybody by giving them their vote. You know it's a set that people want. So if
Correct.
Lego can find a way, because like this theme's not going well, like I said, they just need to find a way to update themselves so that way
Hmm.
people can keep enjoying it at the level that it should be enjoyed. Because ideas is
Yes.
an amazing concept. I just don't want it to be the case where people are always looking for the bad in it, where like, oh,
Yes.
we need more sets approved. In a grand scheme of
That's
things, no,
not the
you
way to
don't.
go.
No.
And I think we very much in this episode laid out the reasons for why that is a bad idea
Mm-hmm.
and why it will make the Lego ideas theme pretty much blow itself up is if
It's
they
gonna
put
feel
too
too
many sets
cramped. It's
out.
gonna feel
Correct.
it. What it boils down to, Lego ideas, you want quality, not quantity.
Correct.
And I
Correct,
think
Amundo.
that would be the best way to end it.
I think that's a good way for us to end this episode too. So if you have not already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a like so that we get some of that fun support. It also means a lot to all of us if you do that. Follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram account is going to be linked in the description, along with my personal Instagram account, Lankster Builds. Cam's YouTube should hopefully be up soonish. I think you're
I'm
working on
working
that
on
stuff,
it.
right? We're getting there. He's getting there with that. Um, Also, before we wrap up, I am wearing my Rock Lug shirt. Rock Lug is the Lego user group that Cam and I are both members of.
Thanks for the memo.
Um,
I would have worn the shirt too.
yes. I don't know if you're going to this event, but there are two upcoming events in the Rochester area that we will be appearing at with Rock Lug, so you'll be able to see some displays. Well, I know I'm appearing at one of them. I don't know if you're appearing at either there too. So Flower City Comic Con is coming
Mm.
up on September 14th, I think. Yes. September 4th. So it's the weekend of September 14th and 15th is when Flower City Comic Con is. Rock Lug will have a display there. You will be able to see, not from me, I have a prior engagement, but I
Flower
believe
City
Cam.
is September 19th. I mean, no,
Oh,
September 13th. September 13th.
yes. So 13th, 14th, 15th. It's that 3-day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So Rock Lug will be there for that. Cam, are you going to that one?
I don't know yet.
Okay, I was gonna say I
I
didn't
gotta
know if
see.
you
It's
were or
it's a
not.
little bit ahead of my schedule. I gotta look into it, see if I can.
Yes.
But I definitely want to
Um,
display if I can.
the other event that is coming up, and it will be much later, but I'm going to say it now just to plug it so we can start talking about it, is the Rochester Maker Fair. That is going to be in November. I believe that is the 16th. It's November 16th. I know that for a fact.
15th.
The 15th.
Yeah.
I will 100% be at that, displaying something, so that'll be fun. But yeah, so those are some spots that you'll actually be able to come see us in person if you actually do. So that will be fun. But with all that being said, wrapping it up, we look forward to seeing everybody in the next episode. Have a great night. Happy building.